telecommunications has become a part of our daily life to such an extent that when turning on the radio, or grabbing the cell phone, we don't even think how these modern technological gadgets work. Today's trip takes us to a rather unordinary place, namely to the world of antennas and radio waves. First of all, what does the word antenna bring to our minds? Mostly we associate the word with height and rooftops. It is true, because most wireless technology communicates via radio waves. But it is not reliable all the time, since it spreads only as a straight line. This is why the antennas, which send signals to all, need to be gathered together and be very visible mainly on rooftops. Enough about the theory. We are glad to introduce our guides today, Sergo and Jan, who spent most of their day between heaven and earth, working on airy structures which bring the picture on the TV set, gives radio a voice, a friend's message on your phone, and the internet at a remote village. Starting with Tallinn. What could be the symbol of Tallinn? Old Thomas? No, it is too small. But Tallinn TV Tower. Why not? Its height and bright red flashing safety lights, it is hard to miss. Tallinn TV Tower was built for broadcasting. It is located in Tallinn, Pirita district. TV Tower is the tallest building in Tallinn in all Estonia. The height of the tower is 314 meters. The architect is David Basilidze and the construction was completed for the 1980 Moscow Olympics sailing regatta in Tallinn. The tower consists of 190 meters in height and including metal concrete core of 124 meters. On the 170-meter mark is the viewing platform. Tallinn TV Tower is the biggest distribution telecommunication center in Tallinn and Harju district, spreading 16 radio stations, digital television programs, and having a base for all 3 mobile operators operating in Estonia as well as a large number of other communication channels.
Now we are moving ahead to very much different place. Up to St. Olaf's Cathedral steeple. I guess we can say that it is the most senior and respectable radio tower. It illustrates the panorama of Tallinn in the 15th century. It is true that radio waves were still unknown at the time, but the height of the tower, 159 meters, was certainly impressive. Years the tower was restored several times after the fires. When the repairs were finished at the end of 1931, the first radio broadcast show went on the air. A celebrity reporter at the time, Felix Moore, was the host. St. Olaf's Tower earned the name as a real communications tower during the 1950 up to 1980s when there was situated the notorious Bakery Street's KGB department's communication machine. In the early 90s until today, the Family Radio Transmission Center is situated in the tower. It would certainly be in the interest for many wireless operators since it is a high tower in downtown Tallinn, but strict rules on protection of cultural heritage contribute to the historic church tower to remain unaffected.
Oh, this human ingenuity. If you need to install a lot of antennas, cables and other gadgets to the heights, old factory chimneys also do the job very well. The Tallinn power station stopped working in the 80s and today the building is known as the Energy Center. As well, there is a center where exhibitions and cultural events are held. But a particular chimney on the top at 85 meters, look at the work of it. Jan and Sergo, as well as their colleagues in the 21st century, the old walls are full of technological gadgets, just so that people can communicate with each other.
New or old, the main thing is that it is high. Modern glass concrete city skyline beauties are not without technological gadgets. True, in order to have them there, you need to pay more when comparing it with the Tallinn Energy Center chimney, but if you need to distribute all the bits and bytes in giga quantities, the price will become the least of the worries. The grateful customers will pay for it nevertheless.
The song goes, on the shore of the river Seine is the city named Paris, for lovers does it feel like a paradise. We picture the panorama of Paris and the elegant silhouette of the Eiffel Tower. But did you know that in Tallinn we also have a sort of an Eiffel Tower? True, it is lower and more robust, but the principle remains the same: self-standing metal mast, the tower of the old Ganshuri Street. In the silhouette of nowadays Tallinn it is long gone, but its counterparts are still in Orsar and Tartu. Both Soviet times technological miracles, monsters of 189 meters high, from the early 1960s, but obviously at that time willing to accept their architectural pearls, showing up to the small-town city panorama in order to get the picture to their TV sets. Today, though, they have lost their original purpose, but they are not empty, and as for Jan and Sergal, they must again and again climb up ladders along the narrow platforms.
But now enough about nostalgia. Let's look around a bit in the modern times. After all, a fast-growing telecommunication needs much higher places than in the previous times. Family radio masts in Kuressaare and Tartu were the pioneers to a new phenomenon in the Estonian landscape. In particular, to the guy wire-supported frame masts. In the mid-90s, mobile transmission was only in the cities, since cities had the highest places for the machinery. The land was still uncovered. Cars used special roof antennas to somehow try to catch the NMT analog signal. But the new GSM technology was in need of a real mast forest. That meant that the next base station should be located at every 30 kilometers. With new technology and new operators started by EMT, they began to compete with QGSM and Radiolinja, today's Tele2 and Elisa. This meant, however, that hundreds of masts were constructed. And so it is, when driving a car, different masts are always on the view, especially during the night when the lights of the masts are bright. All of them are mostly similar to each other, 60-100 meters in height, white and orange striped, with the machinery at the foot of the mast. At the beginning, the telecommunication competitors had to have their own masts, sometimes 3 masts at the same location, but nowadays the operators share and put their machinery on one mast. And so it is, when driving a car, different masts are always on the view, especially during the night when the lights of the masts are bright. All of them are mostly similar to each other, 60-100 meters in height, white and orange striped, with the machinery at the foot of the mast. At the beginning, the telecommunication competitors had to have their own masts, sometimes 3 masts at the same location, but nowadays the operators share and put their machinery on one mast.
Of course, we could not get a full picture of today's aerial tour of the world of antennas, but if we managed to provide information about the telecommunication field in an interesting way, our job has been done.
Thank you for attention, and have a nice godly day.
Bye-bye.